More often than not, when Team 5 makes a design decision, the Hearthstone community is sitting in Reddit wondering, what? Why would they do that? Or even, that doesn't even make any sense. The rationale that's offered for such decisions has become shrouded behind a few buzzwords: new player experience, barrier to entry, and ultimately, design space. The recent content releases and design decisions have been particularly perplexing. If we rewind back to the pre-Karazhan expansion meta, you will notice, in any relevant meta snapshot, a few familiar archetypes. With Karazhan on the horizon, the community hopefully anticipated cards that would bring balance to the classes that were notably dominant, namely aggressive and mid-range variants of Shaman and Warrior. And then these cards were announced, offering flexible, up-tempo, overvalued power in the first 2 turns to a class that was already the most efficient in these categories. We fast forward to pre-Mean Streets, and we're left on the same scene. With great hope once again, the community awaits the card announcements, anticipating the rise of new classes and archetypes and the demise of Shaman and Warrior, and then these cards were announced. Once again, flexible, up-tempo, and completely overpowered value given in the first few turns to classes that were already the most efficient in these categories, and here we sit, months out from over 100 new cards in the same spot. Meanwhile, amidst all this confusion regarding design, the community continues to scratch their collective heads and ask the question, why? And the developers continue to answer with our favorite buzzword-based rhetoric. Today, let's entertain an alternative perspective to why these types of design decisions persist. The goal here is not a polemic, but hopefully to set the bar for future expectations on what design decisions will probably be made with future Hearthstone content. The first element of Blizzard's formula is simply keeping Hearthstone fast. This topic is not unfamiliar. Hearthstone distinguishes itself from all other Blizzard products by being mobile friendly, and no one is going to pull out their phone during their bathroom break at work to cue a Control Warrior mirror match. Alternatively, consumers of Hearthstone need to be confident that they can open the Hearthstone app and have a quick experience. Now, the only way to really ensure a consistently quick ladder game experience is to support the aggressive classes that the meta refined towards. When slower and really powerful cards like Kazakus are in the design space, how can Team 5 be certain that the game stays fast? By supporting already successful aggressive archetypes with new tools. If you want to learn more about the nature of aggro in Hearthstone, be sure to check out Spark's article on this topic on Good Gaming's written articles section. The second and equally important element of the dark side of design space is this: making sure that the archetypes that exist after the meta settles involve cards from all existing expansions and adventures, and giving players non-negotiable incentives to invest in the game. If you take a look at our 6 most prominent archetypes in the meta right now, you will notice how amazingly Team 5 realized this particular design goal. Let's break down the recipe for the most economically incentivizing meta. Ingredient number 1, ensure that fast decks are powerful. Players need to see how easy it is to be successful with a quick and straightforward deck. Check. Ingredient number 2, ensure that every deck has absolutely essential cards from all current adventures and expansions. Check. Ingredient number 3, ensure that there are enough common and basic cards in each deck so that players aren't overly intimidated by a deck list. How distancing to your aspirations if you don't already have most of the cards in a deck list, but how much more incentivizing if you already have 20-ish of the cards that you need. Ingredient number 4, ensure that Legendaries from the classic set are essential alongside new Legendaries. And ingredient number 5, guarantee that the meta will settle down into a few incredibly powerful archetypes that fit all of these ingredients. While this perspective on design is not necessarily hopeful, optimistic, or delightful, acknowledging this dark side of design priorities certainly helps to make sense of so many frustrating aspects of recent design decisions. And while the competitive scene, a varied meta, the support of slower archetypes all might compose some part of the design conversation, the history that is year 1 of Standard tells a story that supports this dark side to the detriment of these other priorities. So often in a player's ability to enjoy the game they play, expectations can dictate our experience of the reality. Blizzard's ability to blend these design ingredients towards Hearthstone's success has been unmatched, with a simple card game surging to greatness beyond all of Blizzard's other legendary game titles. What the Hearthstone community ought to expect going forward in terms of design is the fulfillment of these ingredients first and foremost, which are Blizzard's true recipe for Hearthstone's success.